Alex, we have that one rainstorm we're tracking right now and potentially another one here as we head into the weekend. This winter just is not taking any breaks as the next storm system already being indicated in the models here for Sunday night into Monday. We're going to have a lot of moisture that's going to be streaming up from the Gulf of Mexico out and ahead of this next dip in the jet stream that's moving in. And now there is a significant amount of uncertainty in the timing and the placement within the models right now of this next dip in the jet stream. But you can see here out and ahead of that cold front that's potentially moving in, lots of moisture causing, again, heavy rainfall to come in many of these areas, and maybe even potentially here a little bit of development off the coast, which would certainly be interesting. But this is well off the shore right now. Hopefully it stays that way, because that would mean that we would have very little to no impacts here in New England as we head into Monday. So one to watch for sure. Again, a lot can change in this time frame when it's only Tuesday and we're talking about an event that's Saturday, Sunday night into Monday. But here's a look at that setup. There's the dip in the jet stream and potentially some colder air moving down. But with all this very deep tropical moisture and that southerly flow, this is likely going to be too warm for us to see much snow here in the mid-Atlantic as well as into the interior New England. So we're a little bit limited in the amount of cold air, but we are not limited in the amount of moisture. So there is heavy rain anticipated with this system, even this far out in advance, something to watch for sure. And again, we're watching that potential for some significant development just based on which model right now is doing better. And it looks like this one here is on par with that potential. So Alex, again, a lot of heavy rain coming here for New England this week, and it looks like we're just going to get another dousing here by the time we reach the weekend.
All right, yet another one to watch for sure. We shall do that.
While, yes, the warmer temperatures and the rain can help the situation, help break up that ice, it could also be too much of a good thing here in some of these areas. So, unfortunately, we're setting ourselves up here for a recipe for disaster, because we've got the snow cover, we've got the cold snap that helped bring that ice. We've got those frozen rivers, of course, with that, but now with the heavy rain and the warm temperatures moving in, this could actually be exacerbating the situation, as all of that water has nowhere to go because it's backed up from that ice jam. Here's a look at the snowfall here across the U.S. A very active winter so far. Many areas ranking in here on this map. Almost 20 inches here in the New York City area, just giving you an idea of how much snow has come down already. And now look at these temperatures the last couple days. We had a lot of blue showing you that cold snap, but we warmed up into the upper 40s and 50s here into this area. So that, of course, is causing some issues, and why we've got those flood watches, because, Alex, a lot of these ice jams are starting to melt, and now downstream of that, we could be seeing some issues from that rushing water.
At 40 past the hour, we're going to talk to a doctor about this flu season and how effective the flu vaccine has been this year.
Yeah, it's amazing, Alex, to see how widespread some of the flu is across the U.S. And this isn't a joke. All of the colors on the map here are the actual reports of the flu across the continental U.S.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the map here, it actually looks a little better than it did maybe last week. It seemed like last week the entire nation, we had the dark red, which is widespread out there. Now we're starting to see a few more regional and local areas out there. But nonetheless, it is still pretty bad across the country.
Yeah, so actually, Alex, this is last year's flu.
Oh,
that we
did I just completely...
No, that was both of us. So if this was last year at this time.
Oh, well, there
this year,
it is.
There you
so
go, because we were both
corrected.
surprised. You know, this year, the flu is quite widespread.
So, yeah. The proof is in the pudding there. Winter's not...
And images coming out of Winter Storm Jackson yesterday in the Midwest, and now the Northeast still dealing with some impacts from the storm. Today, we do have those winter weather advisories here up for portions of New Hampshire as well as into Maine, and winter storm warnings really only limited to the very northern portion of Maine here throughout the rest of the day. But you look at the visible satellite image, lots of cloud cover here still in the area. Heavy rain coming down now in southeastern Massachusetts, and look at some of the details there in the clouds. You can see as that air and moist air moves over the mountainous areas. But a lot of that heavy rain now beginning to move off the coast. But again, not until we still see some of those warnings here pass through in southeastern Massachusetts. But looking up towards Maine, all of these pink and purple colors here coming across Interstate 95, that is freezing rain potentially reaching down near the surface in these areas, which is going to be a threat until the evening and late hours of the night tonight. We will be seeing much of this moisture stream offshore, and things will clear out momentarily here across the coastal areas. But as we head into the evening and later on into tonight, we will see some stray snow showers here, potentially even some lake effect bands coming off of Lake Ontario and Lake Erie here into upstate New York by the time we get into the evening tonight. We could be seeing 1 to 3 inches of snow still in those areas, potentially maybe even lingering into the early hours of tomorrow morning. So Winter Storm Jackson not over yet. Again, upstate New York, one of the areas we still could be seeing some snow. Up here in the very northern portion of Maine, we could be having as much as 5 to 8 inches before that storm moves off to the north and east. So still many impacts to come. And then right here across I-95 between Portland and Bangor, Maine, Alex, we're still watching for that threat for ice potentially on the roads. And then, of course, the heavy rain comes in after that.
Hey, you said it a lot to try.
Things can get started and get going there, but luckily they were able to get that fire contained very quickly.
Absolutely. It was spreading pretty quickly, but the crews, they came together and got it all together in a fair amount of time.
Yeah. Well, switching gears just a little bit to talk about this winter, man, it has been very active to start the year so far. Every state in the U.S. has had snow or sleet, including Florida including Hawaii.
That is nuts. Pretty crazy. And we've seen several rounds of that snow impacting parts of the South. Pretty amazing. Yeah,
just incredible to see how much has come down. And now we're watching the next system here moving into the West Coast. You can see significant moisture heading into the Northwest right now. But there's some pretty cool stuff that's happening on the visible satellite. So we'll take a little tour here of the West Coast to show you. You can see their dense cloud cover coming in to Portland and Seattle. This is very typical for January. I spent 7 years there, and this is just pretty much every day. But you look down here towards California, we had some fog that's evaporating here in the valley across Interstate 5. And Alex, check out the snow on the Sierra.
Yeah, you can see. I mean, the great things you can pick up from the visible satellite, which is just quite amazing. The stuff that's not moving, essentially, that's where you've got either the snow, as you said, in the mountain peaks, or that fog, but you can see how it's getting eaten away as things start to clear up during the afternoon.
Yeah, just love it. So much stuff you can see, but, you know, thinking about the Sierra, this was one of the areas we watched a lot last year because we had epic snowfall coming in. But if you look at where we are this season, really lacking. The blue line is where we are now. This is where we were last year, heading into February. I mean, huge discrepancy, Alex.
Yeah, that is pretty major there. We'll see if we can make up here a little bit here in the coming days, but man, we got a ways to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, hopefully going to get a little bit of help here from that next system. You can see those pink colors showing you the 18 to 24-inch range coming into the Cascades and the Sierra. So definitely more to come. But the real thing I think that people are going to feel here, especially on the East Coast, is the shift into warmer temperatures, because it's been since nearly Christmas that we've had that cold snap on the East Coast.
Yeah, we have all been in that deep freeze, but now we're going to exit that here at least for the next a week or so at least.
Absolutely. I mean, I certainly welcome a little bit of warmer temperatures. The cold is nice, but after 3 weeks, it's kind of like, okay, like, you know, I could use a little bit of a shift. But you can see just how progressive this next pattern is going to be. We'll get a couple cold shots here and there, but none of them are really going to be lasting very long. They're going to be quick moving to move in and out. So we'll be seeing these warm temperatures and potentially some storm systems surging back into the Northeast. And now that we're heading into the end of January and February, this is prime nor'easter season coming into the East Coast. So we're not quite done with winter by any means. We could still be seeing some significant weather coming in to the area as we look ahead into February and March. But Alex, it's been a roller coaster in places like New York. We had temperatures that barely reached freezing to start off the month, but now we hit the 40s and 50s into the weekend. Yesterday we were into the upper 50s as well.
Up in that upswing in the warmer times there in NYC. Well, right now, Mother Nature lending a bit of a helping hand for parts of the Northeast dealing